This is Mekus with the Continence Club. I am back with yet another groundbreaking presentation. If you're new to the channel, hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button, and hit that notification bell. My email's in the description if you want to work with me one-on-one, or if you want me to just address new video topics, let me know and I will make it for you. Now, with that being said, it's time to demonstrate. In this presentation today, it's all about thought and reasoning. I want to talk about your thoughts and I want to talk about your ability to reason, because both of them go hand in hand, and both of those things in tandem are going to bridge the gap and get you from your current situation over to your desired situation in a record speed. So imagine this, like really imagine this. Look around. Thinking is what most people don't do. And I know I wasn't thinking constructively growing up. I was thinking to my detriment. And for that reason, I found myself in current situations similar to you that I didn't like. And I wanted to change that, right? So now think about this. If the average person said what they were thinking these days, they would probably be speechless. Let that sink in. Let me say that again. If the average person said what they were thinking these days, they would probably be speechless, because the average person doesn't think. And it's not their fault. And the reason is because we weren't really taught how to think constructively growing up. We were really taught to think in ways that hold us back or that stagnate us. But, individuals just like me and yourself have realized that, hey, we can use thoughts to our advantage, and we could create the life that we want through our thoughts. And that's exactly what me and you are doing right now, right? Compared to the average person. Now, let's dive a little deeper into this. Listen to people talk, or even yourself. If you did, you would never say what you were saying. Let me say that again. Listen to people talk, or even listen to yourself talk. If you really did, you would never say what you were saying. Because once you understand how powerful your thoughts is, you will understand that the way that you think literally creates your experiences, your circumstances. And so if you really to understand this and conceptualize this, you would never say what you were saying, right? Right? If you really understand this information. If you were thinking, you were probably, if you were thinking, you probably wouldn't be doing what you were doing, right? So if you're really thinking constructively, you wouldn't be doing what you're doing, because if you were thinking correctly and applying correct thought, you would be in your desired situation, right? You wouldn't be doing what you're doing, because that's what's keeping you stuck in your current situation. But it's okay, because by the end of this presentation, when you listen to the rest of this presentation, you are going to use this to your advantage and get out of that current situation that you don't want to be in. So I want to leave you with the message: don't let the outside world control your thinking. Use your reason to decide what you want and build from the inside out. And it starts with your thoughts, because your thoughts are going to be able to lead to your ability to reason. And so when we're talking about thoughts in your current situation, think about why you can, right? Don't spend time thinking about why you can't. Think about how you can do something. Don't think about the fact that you can't, because the more you think about how you can and how you can get something done, things are going to be put in place for you to find the answer, right? You just have to stay true to yourself and really believe in yourself and realize that you have more power than you think. There's no odds in thinking of why you can't, but there's great odds in thinking about how you can. So you must think and know that your desire has already been fulfilled, because it already has. The fact that you can think about it in your mind means that it exists and it's already there. You just have to attract it, and you need to be able to see it in physical existence. So understand that its accomplishment will soon follow, especially as you persist in that feeling state and live in the wish fulfilled, like I talk about in my videos, via the law of assumption. So make your desired situation an already existing fact. How will you talk? How will you walk? How will you feel? Because feeling is the secret. Feeling is going to help you materialize your desired situation in record speed. So once you do this, you essentially eliminate all consideration of conditions or limitations, because you're not stagnating yourself. You're not limiting yourself to your current situation. You're not playing the victim card anymore. You're planting a seed which, if left undisturbed, will germinate and manifest as your desired situation, right? So think on whether your next decision is getting you to your desired situation. And if it's not, stop right there, because remember, to get what you want, you have to align yourself vibrationally. You have to align your frequency to who it is that you want to become. right? And so if that next step that you're going to take isn't going to get you to become that person, to get you closer to your desired situation, it's probably not the smartest next step for you to take. So, with this being said, thinking is the highest function that you're capable of. Like, thinking really is your greatest gift. Why do you think there's so many distractions these days to take you away from your ability to think? Because, on the deepest level, right, they know that your ability to think is what's going to help you create the reality that you want. That's why you have all of these distractions taking your energy away, so that you don't have the ability to do that. Right. And so thinking is the highest function that you're capable of. And this mental faculty should be exercised at every possible opportunity. Thought is the preamble to everything in your life. Right. Everything that you see, is because of a thought first. Those headphones that you have in your ear listening to this, you might be listening to this on your phone. You might be sitting down on your computer, your TV. Understand that all of these products, right, that you're utilizing to watch this presentation today, all stem from a thought first. So your thoughts are an active form of dynamic energy, which has the power to correlate with this object and bring about your desired situation in the physical world. And I say it in my videos, your thoughts have the ability to manipulate physical matter. And so all thoughts that you have do not go unnoticed. All thoughts that you have do go in whatever reservoir there is, right, that'll eventually create your desired situation. That'll eventually create your reality, things along those lines. So unfortunately, though, the vast majority of people that you're around, that your friends, your colleagues at work, your family members, right, those people around you, unfortunately, a lot of them, they don't really think. They simply accept what they see or what they hear, whatever Fox News is saying, whatever the media is saying, whatever X is saying, whatever that political guy is saying. Like, they just simply accept it, right? Whatever they see or hear. They don't have the ability to think outside of the box. They don't have the ability to really think. But that's where you're separating yourself, by watching content like this, really trying to really think for yourself and be constructive and intentional with the way that you live. Right, because that the power really does lie with you. And so, this is why you find yourself trapped in your current situation as well, because you're not really utilizing your ability to think, and you're just kind of going with the flow, not really being intentional for your life. And let me tell you something, right? If you're not intentional with your life, then you're going to be living somebody else's life. And one thing that I do know for certain is that, you really don't want to regret that when it's all said and done. You want to pass on from this world knowing that you lived the life that you want. And the only way you're going to do that is through a constructive thought, right? And being able to reason your way to your desired situation. It's all in your mind, like I depicted my guy up here, and like I depicted the brain here. So as we talk about reasoning today, reasoning is the mental faculty that allows you to create and manipulate thoughts, to tap into non-physical energy and build ideas by connecting thoughts into a purposeful outcome. So again, being able to take those calculated steps that I'm referring to, whenever I was referring to thoughts, reasoning is going to help you be a lot more calculated when it comes to whatever next steps that you have to take. And so chances are you're reasoning away your success with limiting beliefs. Make that make sense. How does that sound to you, that you're reasoning away your success with limiting beliefs? You're right. You're reasoning away the fact that, you can create the life that you want. Like, you want to give yourself every excuse to feel like you're powerless. But the truth is, I get it. You might even be fearful of the fact that you can really be successful, and I get it. And that's why it's important to do the mindset work and to become that version of yourself, because that version of yourself is not going to be scared of your desired situation. And once it's achieved, that version of yourself is going to be able to maintain it, right? So, understand that your ability to reason, right, is one of your greatest powers. So again, don't limit yourself. Be able to reason to the fact that you can create the life that you want. Reason to the fact that, you can really be that person that you want to be, man or woman, because that's a gift. Reason gives you the ability to choose your thoughts wisely. Reason is not about being rational, to a fault, right? It's about deliberate construction, right? Constructing your thoughts and leveraging it to your advantage. It's how you take imagination and put it into form, right? That imagination, that thought that you have, the reason is what's going to be able to help you take the necessary action steps to materialize it. So the next time someone gives you a suggestion, rather than simply accepting that suggestion, what that news outlet that's telling you whatever that is that they want you to believe, and acting on that suggestion, think first, to just think first, think for yourself first. And if you want to agree with whatever outlet is telling you what it is, that's great. As long as you use your thinking capabilities first, you can agree with whatever that the news outlet or whatever somebody else is telling you. If that's what you believe, the point is think for yourself first and then make a rational decision. Exercise your reasoning factor whenever you start to think. Ask yourself if the suggestion that you're receiving will improve the quality of your life or not, right? Is it in alignment with who it is that you want to become? So a little bit more on reasoning. So why reasoning matters to achieve your desired situation. One, it helps you rewire your beliefs. So again, most people are living on autopilot, living by beliefs they never chose, right? And so reason gives you the ability to ask things like, where did this belief come from? Is this actually true? What else could be true instead? And this is how you rewrite your subconscious programs. And this is how you're going to shift from I'm not like good enough to I am more than capable, right? You're going to stop reasoning your success away. And so, another reason why reasoning matters to achieve your desired situation is that it builds emotional stability. So like in the case of challenges, like in your current situation, chances are you're reacting emotionally, but that's not really going to help you advance, right? It's good to zoom out, pause, and choose your interpretation and perception of your current situation, because that's what's really going to help segue over to your desired situation, because of the way that you perceive what is going on right now, right? And so another reason is it aligns you with your higher self that is worthy of your desired situation. Your will holds the image and your imagination creates the vision, and your reason decides what that vision means to you, right? So this is going to help you get in much more tune with yourself, because that voice inside of your head knows what's best for you, right? And so that's, 3 reasons why reasoning matters to achieve your desired situation. Now, the question that you might be having for me now is, how can I apply it in real time? And so I have 4 ways here, and the first is through self-inquiry. So what does that actually really mean? It really just means asking yourself better questions, right? So ask yourself, like, what belief is driving my behavior? Ask yourself, is that belief helping me or hurting me, right? And you can ask yourself as well, what else can be true, right? Because a singular perception of things isn't really going to help you. It's good to be open and, look at your options and then make a calculated decision. You can write these answers down, right? Because writing engages multiple parts of your brain, right? And so another way you can apply reason in real time is through pattern interrupt with logic. So what do I mean by this? The next time you catch a limiting belief, like literally stop yourself and think, hey, that's an interesting thought, but where's the evidence for it, right? That creates like a crack, basically, like in your subconscious mind, allowing like a new programming to take root, because you like literally caught yourself and stopped yourself, right? So another way to apply reasoning in real time is to build thought structures intentionally. So essentially, every time you want to create something, like whether it's a new business or relationship, income goal, whatever it is, use reason to build, scaffolding around the vision. So you could ask, like, what are the thoughts I need to repeat to believe this, right? What kind of person already has this result? How would they think, act, and respond? So this is really going to help, build your mental model. You don't fake it till you make it. You reason it until you like actually embody it. That's why I say you really want to become that person who is in alignment with what it is that you want. It's really going to help you. And lastly, I would definitely say to apply reasoning in real time, like use affirmation with logical hooks. So what I mean is that affirmation shouldn't just feel blind. Like you shouldn't it's not just about saying and repeating things all the time. It's good to use these logical hooks, use emotion, right, in these logical hooks. So like, okay, for an example, you could say, I'm a millionaire, right? Instead of saying I'm a millionaire, say, I'm learning the mindset and habits of a millionaire every day. My beliefs are aligning more with prosperity, right? You see how there's more of a depiction in the way that you communicate to yourself that you are a millionaire in this case. Like I said, you're learning that mindset and habits of a millionaire every day. My beliefs are aligning more with prosperity. And that sort of gives your subconscious mind, a new means to realize that in real time. So it's basically telling your brain that, hey, this is reasonable, and what's reasonable to you gets accepted faster because it doesn't seem so impossible and out of this world. So that's how you apply thought and reasoning in tandem, and that is going to bridge the gap from your current situation to your desired situation. Both of these things, again, do go hand in hand. So please use that to your advantage, leverage it, and by no time you are going to be able to leave that current situation that you despise so much. And with that being said, this is Mekus with the Continence Club. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I will see you on the other side. And until next time, keep going.